Good morning, guys.
Morning?
Good morning, good evening. Got my days back to front. How are you? It's Sam, SIZGORIC, Billy DRURY, Novak News. What are we talking about tonight, Billy?
Well, stay tuned. 8 landlord tips to make big money. Give us 30 seconds of your night and we're going to talk a little bit more about more. How are we, Sam?
I'm good. How are you, Billy?
You're good. I hope you've woken up a little bit.
Hopefully I've woken up a bit. You know, I know it's 8 o'clock, but
no excuses.
Always on the ball. But anyway, what are we talking about today?
8 landlord tips to make big money. It's that time of the year again.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to have a little bit of cash in the pocket for Christmas.
Christmas time.
And this is the way to do it.
Exactly. You know, you're seeing on the rental market, me and Billy both doing rentals, him going more into sales, but let's not talk about that. But no, we're seeing an increase in the market, you know, seeing more activity, and now is the perfect time as landlords to get that advice in before the new year and to get that extra bit of cash in.
That's it. So the biggest mistake we see landlords make, and where most money is lost during or whilst having an investment property, is the relet stage of the year. Now, at the end of your 12-month tenancy, 6-month tenancy, or when that long-term tenant has moved out, the property's got to go back on the market for rent. And often we get 2 to 3 weeks notice before the tenant moves out with their intention to vacate. And that gives us a 2 to 3 week window or opportunity to get things right the first time and make sure we're back on the market.
Yeah.
In terms of finding a new tenant. Now, do you want to talk a little bit about some of the mistakes that we see landlords make? Yeah.
So the biggest thing I feel, you know, I say it from time to time, you can probably agree with me on this. It's just ensuring regular maintenance is carried out. You know, at that point of time, you're thinking, oh, you know, that repair is going to kill me. You know, it's a lot of money, but it's more worthwhile ensuring that those repairs are carried through, rather than, you know, you have a tenant in there for some time and then they end up leaving after, you know, say 5 years, and then you have this big pile of maintenance due, and you're looking at it and it's just unneeded stress. You know, all the little things that haven't been picked up prior hand. You know, it's a tally. We have properties that we manage day in, day out, and you get tenancies and they've been in there since 2010. They've had a 10-year run where no real work has been done to the property, and now landlords are faced with an opportunity where they've got to do the work to bring it back up to market spec, and this can take at least a couple of weeks, and that's a period where you're getting no rental income because it's obviously sitting empty, plus the time you obviously need to get back on the market and re-advertise. Yeah, so 100%. And it also, you know, your tenant as well becomes satisfied with, you know, regular maintenance. Regular maintenance. Regular maintenance. We're talking about regular maintenance, Mark.
Hey, gents.
Stefan. Hey. This is the
regular maintenance.
Hi. Regular maintenance.
Hey, Steve, what's a landlord tip that you would give to make big money? One tip.
I think a common mistake I see a lot of landlords do is they hold out to try to make an extra $5 or $10 a week on rent. And you miss 3 weeks rent, you're going to be $1,500 short. You know, maybe $2,000. That's equivalent to $20, $30 a week's rent increase. So just be smart when you're putting your rents up. Don't hold out for 5. If the boys tell you it's on the market, it's on the market.
Amen.
You've been told by Steve Woodlow. And by me, quick tip, I would say leverage your money. So if you have a property that you've paid off, we've got a lot of landlords that have properties, believe it or not, over 10, 20, 30 years, they've paid it off, leverage it again and get that money working for you. So don't let it, I know it's got rent coming in and I know it's going up in value, but you can get that property to buy another property, a little fella for you.
Amen.
Thanks, Mark.
Good night.
But yeah, before we finish up on this last point, it's just so important to invest regularly, consistently before you come to the end of the tenancy and you've got to do it all in one hit.
Exactly. You know, it's, and as I was saying before I was interrupted by the special guests, it does make the tenant does become more satisfied living in the property, having those, you know, those maintenance works carried out. You know,
Well, that's it.
it is worthwhile getting it done.
Because sometimes tenants, and we were talking a little bit about this off air, will find ways to nitpick at things. And we see it even more when you send a $10 rent increase just because everything's going up. Your strata levies are going up, water, council. And so the owner gives instructions to put a $10 rent increase, but at the same time, they haven't invested any money into repairs for the duration of a long tenancy. And you can see this sort of only comes and bites them in the arse a little bit.
Exactly.
At the end. So that's a big one.
Yeah.
Regular investment where needed makes
a big difference.
Relet times reduced.
Yeah, most definitely. Another important point I want to touch on, it's just the importance of those vacant dates, ensuring you have a tenant to fill in those gaps so you aren't losing any money in the relet process. You know, at times it can be quite stressful. You know, your tenant's given their 3 weeks notice and, you know, that 3 weeks passes and then now you don't have a tenant in the property. You know, things are starting to come down. You don't have that investment coming in, supporting yourself, supporting your mortgage or whatever it may be. But it's just important that you have someone in there, you know, that someone is in the property at the time. So you're getting that, that flow.
Well, we often get landlords asking us, do we wait until the tenant's moved out so the property looks a little bit more presentable? Or, you know, is it better or the tenant's furniture doesn't look great? Do we wait before we do photographs? The main thing you've got to be aware of, once the property is empty, no rent's coming in, it's really expensive to keep it that way. A good agent should be acting straight away as soon as that vacate notice comes in for the outgoing tenant. Property goes back up, open for inspection times, are listed online, and you're getting groups through straight away.
Yeah.
You can worry about the way the property looks 2 to 3 weeks down the line. If you need to play with the marketing, if you need to play with the way the property's looking online at that point.
That also segues to our next point. We're also going to touch on realestate.com versus domain. You know, I speak to a lot of landlords daily, you know, and we do a lot of relets throughout the week, throughout the month, you know, throughout the year, I should say. And they don't know if they should put their property on realestate.com or just leave it on domain, you know. And recently we're seeing an increase. I believe it's 2 to 1 at the moment with people viewing realestate.com over domain. You know, it's surprising to see that increase in the Northern Beaches, I should say. But I say to landlords, it is worth it at the end of the day. You know, you are trying to get your property leased. You know, these are the tips that, you know, we provide to you. You know, it's up to you if you want to do it, whether or not, but I highly suggest, you know, paying that fee and ensuring your property is advertised correctly.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, realestate.com does come at a cost of $239. Now, that's been negotiated down through Novak, working closely with realestate.com. We're dealing in such high volumes, 50 properties a month we're leasing. So that's heavily discounted already. Like you say, in terms of prospective buyers and where they're looking, there are 2 prospective tenants. Sorry, I said buyers.
Yeah,
tenants looking on realestate.com to every one on domain. Now that does vary from area to area, postcode to postcode, but in our local area, realestate.com does hold a strong numbers
standpoint.
On
100%.
On all you know, properties right across the market. Oh, sorry, you go. So it's a great investment in terms of maximizing the amount of exposure you're getting, which in terms of getting top dollar is very important.
Yeah, 100%. Another thing I should also point out is we're sort of talking on advertising at the moment, the use of virtual furniture.
Yes.
So it is important, you know, it can help you get your property over the line to that person that is viewing on realestate.com, for example, just to get a feel for feel for the space before they actually view it.
Well,
Gives them more of an insight.
For those that don't know what virtual furniture is, because it's not that common for people out of industry, what is it, Sam?
So we have graphic designers we use, and we implement from third-party sources in which they put in the appropriate furniture and design into the property to make that property that bit better, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, effectively, you can take out furniture that you might not want in there, whether that be for personal reasons, it's sentimental family stuff, or whether you just don't, whether you think your furniture doesn't quite fit property vibe, you want to switch it up a little bit, freshen it up. You can effectively put virtual furniture into the property and recycle these photos. Floor plans are another good one to give spatial awareness, and it keeps it looking fresh.
100%. It is important. I do say it from time to time, the use of having a floor plan. The amount of times I'm at opens and people are asking for specific measurements and all that jazz, it's quite crazy. Landlords don't understand the importance of having that floor plan. And
it's really cheap.
Yep. That's the best. That's the best thing. If you don't want to be spending, $239 on realestate.com, I do suggest using or purchasing a floor plan. It will save you in the long run. It is recyclable as well. Just say your property does become on relet another 12 months time. Tenants want to move out after their lease. We can always go back to that floor plan to advertise.
That's it. These things are really small, tiny investments, but in the long run do make huge amounts of difference, because for the price of $200, you can get yourself the apartment or house virtually furnished with a floor plan, which is super attractive to all prospective tenants looking.
Exactly. It gives it that extra bit of oomph, when people are looking, it's better seeing a floor plan in an advertisement than not seeing them, because, it is important getting those measurements, and whether it's,
you're competing in a market where there are plenty of properties on the market for lease. And to ultimately stand out. And if you're asking for a premium rent, then you've got to be engaging with your prospective tenants. Yeah,
I think it is also important. A good agent will also enforce the use of sorry, I'm getting caught on my words. It's important that they are doing those inspections on Wednesday and Saturday, as well. From time to time, since you are using a third-party agency, we do know the legislation, in regards to when inspections can be, the appropriate notice as well, ensuring that we are doing the best we can to relet that property, essentially.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, that's the most of it, guys. We've been a little bit all over the place tonight with our 8 points, but the big ones and the main focus of tonight's topic was to talk to you about the relet process, making sure it's done properly when needed. It doesn't happen too often for most landlords. I think average sort of tenancy period for most of our properties is 24 to 48. 12 to 48 months. Yeah. However, they do come up. Yeah. And your agent should not be waiting around when that notice period's given, making sure everything's acted on pretty quickly.
Exactly. And just ensuring that everything's done appropriately in the space of time given, ensuring when that notice is given, that agent is acting accordingly, ensuring if there is maintenance, it does get done before new tenants move in. That's a big one, actually, I notice from time to time with some other properties. They don't pick up on maintenance.
And leave it.
Yeah, they leave it. And that sort of segues back into what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Ensuring maintenance is carried out throughout the years, not just leaving it all for one go just to pile up.
Well, that's it.
Anything else, Billy?
I think that's
it. So thanks for watching, guys.
Have a great evening, and